There we go. Hey, welcome everybody once again to Astronomy Daily Live. Hope everybody's doing well out there in the universe and the world. Things are good here, things are clear, but the wind is blowing. Still blowing out there. I'm about an hour and a half out from starting this campaign to observe asteroid 1999 KW4. It's it passed nearest the Earth yesterday, um, and today it's pretty much at its
Wow.
brightest. Going to be at its brightest. So yeah, I'm taking the opportunity to attempt to observe it. I am definitely going to be out there, regardless of what the wind is doing, because it could stop very, very quickly. So, even if I just have a little bit of data, I suppose that's better than none. It's it's an interesting target because it's so nearby and so bright.
Yeah.
It makes it accessible in a little scope like that. So so hopefully we can get a little bit of science out of this thing to get a light curve, get some astrometry, and uh, well, if things look good, make the proper kinds of reports and add the data that I'm gonna hopefully have to the overall thing, and just add to the base of knowledge. That's what a lot of these observations do. So doesn't make them groundbreaking or headline or anything. Absolutely no way. So all right, well, cool. Well, hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm opening up the chat. Andy, hey, nice to see you. Glad you could stop by. So, Atta, what is going on? You're feeling a little ill.
Yeah, I'm training for an event that I represent my community in some athletic events later this year. I mean, a lot later. It's way into this fall. But when you're my age, you can't train 6 weeks in advance. You've got to train months in advance. The
Okay.
the old body just doesn't pick it up as fast as it used to. And I'm in mixed martial arts. And there's some old guy there. He's a Shinto master. He's 84 years old. And man, I hope I don't draw him because you get out on the mat for the rondori with this guy and you have lost before you even know that the fight's starting. That's how good he is.
Wow.
And it's so horrible. It's really distressing.
You,
You're
yeah,
mad
I mean,
weight, not on sex.
you've
It's not, a sexist operation.
but you practice, and then you're matched up, right? Right? You practice.
I've been practicing for 40 years.
There you go. Okay.
I'm not
So,
one of these, 1 week and you get a black belt kind of people. I mean,
right.
I did the actual Japanese belt lines in judo and Shinto. And
Wow.
and I did, some other things. I'm not very good at hand combat. I rarely use my hands because I have two serious shoulder injuries, and that, puts me back. But women don't have very much upper body strength anyhow.
Huh.
But lower body strength were killers. don't ever
Mm,
don't ever get in a fight with a pole dancer. She'll kill you. But
All right.
yeah, but
I'll have to remember that one.
oh yeah, do remember that. I'm sure you need that. Well, I certainly hope that you can get some data on this asteroid.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's exciting.
quite a fascinating thing. I mean, how many asteroids have their own moons?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not going to see any kind of evidence of that whatsoever at all. That's not anything I'm going to see at all. But apparently it's there, and yeah. Anyway, before we get into that too much, definitely want to say howdy to Bobby. Hey.
Hey, ha, 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 ha. Mm.
Oh, I can do it that.
Yeah.
I definitely can.
Huh. Now,
Yeah.
Right.
should I turn?
Hey, hey, Native
All right.
American chant. I asked my uncle one time when I heard him doing this. He'd do this for hours, and I said,
Yeah.
"Uncle, what does this mean?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "What does this mean, Uncle?" And he looked at me and he said, "It means, yeah." It was
Yeah, I just turned on Check Me Out on the TV. It looks like she's not using that much bow, so I didn't see the big bow. I seen the gongs.
yeah.
And
She just has got all these new bowls and stuff from some course she was taking, and so she's using them. But they do give very good sound.
oh yeah.
I just have trouble staying awake with that stuff, My problem is I don't have a problem sleeping. I know somebody online asked me one time about Check Me Out. It said, if you have trouble sleeping, this is I said, look, at my age, I don't have trouble sleeping. I have trouble staying awake. I have to keep it interesting all the time, or I'll
All right, I know.
poor.
Yeah. Well, hopefully she'll be on for a little while because I'd like to listen to her while I'm doing this run, and I'm going to be continuously looking outside to look at the status of the wind out there. So, but the sun is setting. You can see that we still got some sunlight here, but it is definitely going down, as they say.
Do you have anything outside your window that can give you an indication of the wind?
Yes,
like a flag or something.
Yeah.
Ribbon.
I've got a nice big tree.
You
here.
actually have a tree in the middle of the desert? Boy, you must water it.
Yellow, Uncle Bill Derwin. Yeah. And then that happened to me one time. I couldn't even stay awake watching watching the rocket launch. And by the time Whip Off came and EJSA was like, "Go, baby, go!" And I was like, "Oh shoot!"
Yeah. Well, sometimes I suppose it's difficult to stay awake, but no, I guess I've never really had that kind of a problem. If I need to be awake, I'm usually awake.
Or let's do it Spy Kids way. Oh, shiitake mushrooms.
All right. Well, I've got the standard consumable here, the HOH, hydrogen hydroxide. So cheers.
And I got my General Standard.
Excellent, eh?
Well, I've got a cup of coconut rum.
All right. Wow, that sounds interesting.
It's very tasty. Leave it to me to pick the highest calorie alcohol that you could possibly drink. No dry martinis for me. No siree.
No siree. No way. So, all right. Well, cool. So, I might, because of the circumstances, I'm thinking that this live stream today is probably going to be a little bit short. So my idea of a big tree, I don't remember
Hey.
what that is. Do I have an idea about a big tree?
There's no such thing as
Oh,
a big
big
tree in the desert.
big tree,
Yeah.
big tree.
And Swampy
This is
McGee, welcome.
actually,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So
Actually,
Swampy
what I've got out
McGee.
here is
Yep.
more like a very, very tall bush, but it's probably, I would say, probably 20 feet or so. So I mean, it's pretty big, and it's sort of a native here. So it actually doesn't necessarily have to be watered at all.
Yeah.
So we water it a little bit, but no, I mean it's fine otherwise. Anyway, because
Yeah.
it's like a bush, it's got these small branches, and so that is really really nice to see if the wind is
Yeah.
blowing, and
Yeah.
it it is, but
Yeah.
what's
So
that,
we'd
Bobby?
like to welcome Swampy McGee. Yep, I think we'll take that as a compliment. It is a coconut rum Sunday night, but that have H2O will travel.
Yeah, well,
You guys are just too good. What can I
this
say?
is the consumable of choice live stream. So whatever you prefer, uh, uh, drinking, inhaling, injecting, whatever, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
and
okay with all that.
you both missed Tim's live stream tonight.
Tim
Tim
had a live
Robinson.
stream.
Yeah, he had a live.
Too bad. I love his live stream.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was otherwise occupied. So Swampy McGee, cool.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
just subbed. Yeah, Aspiration Obsession is the one I subbed, and he's an amateur radio operator, and I had a good interaction with him.
cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Well, I thought that what we could do, like I said, I think I'm going to keep this live stream a little bit short. Maybe go till about like 2:45 or so, 2:50, because I want to be out on target by
Oh, yeah.
3:30.
You don't want him
So
dead.
yeah, well, I just have a small window of time because it's so low in the sky.
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to have an hour on it at all. So I'm going to start at 8:30 p.m. local time, which is still sort of in astronomical twilight. But because of the because of the photometry I'm doing, um, that shouldn't be a problem.
Oh,
Holy crap! Yeah, Page Master,
Oh, Page
welcome.
Master. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
oh, no.
yeah,
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 it's that season and it's that part of the world. It's really interesting that there I don't think that there are any other parts of the world that have that kind of like really reliable tornadic activity. I think that's the only place on the planet. Is that true?
wow.
I
Yeah.
think you're right
Uh,
about that. The American Midwest has pretty constant tornado activity every year,
Yeah, it's
all the
it's
time.
extremely
Yeah.
reliable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why do you
wow.
live
Swampy McGee. Yeah, Swampy McGee. He posted a title of an article from the International Business Times as of May 20th of this year.
Uh,
Saturn rings in danger of disappearing because of human, scientists warn.
well, Swampy McGee, I
of
no,
humans? They are in danger of disappearing, and they will disappear. But I don't think we have anything to do with that.
not to my knowledge at at all, and I'm not quite
Okay,
sure.
according to Embers, asteroid miners and tech millionaires could plunder precious rocks from space, including the icy rings of Saturn, in the very near future.
Well, I don't
Well,
know how near we are.
yeah, I think that is a possibility. Um,
It is.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and and if I mean, there are endless. I mean, as far as we're concerned, limitless resources. So, uh, would it be wise to take from Saturn in that way, or just find something else? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Interesting thought, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
interesting.
To those in the alternative research field, that mining the rings of Saturn might sound like the 1986 by former NASA scientist Norman Bergam called the Rainmakers of Saturn.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard of that one. Um, Sounds
Well,
kind of interesting.
that's what we're going to do. If we find something of value to us, we will exploit it. It's in our
Probably.
It is in our nature. Our history has done this, particularly in the near future, because we haven't undergone a heck of a lot of social evolution over the past 10,000 years. So I expect in the next 200 or 300, we're not going to undergo much either. We're going to be pretty predictable as a species, and we will exploit. That may not necessarily be a bad thing. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt Saturn to have things taken out of the ring, as far as I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I don't
Wow.
know. We're on the verge of
Yeah.
actually facing these kinds of questions. We're not quite
Wow.
there yet, but it's kind of interesting to think about because we're
Yeah.
almost there. We're almost right there.
they had a very good
Yeah.
series on. I can't remember, it's Nat Geo
Yeah.
or something, but I watched it. It was a fictional series about a colony on Mars, but it was based on really solid science. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't Star Trekky or anything like that. This was what it might be like to establish a colony there and what kinds of problems they would face. In addition to your usual technical problems, you got to get air to breathe and food to eat. Those are biggies. But when they got that nailed, they started getting problems with corporations, fights between them, who gets what and who wants what and who wants control. I mean, I can imagine that being a real issue if we get to outer space. There are
Yeah.
people
Check the chat. Check the chat.
that,
Yeah.
they're going to be fighting for it.
Yeah, and
You're right, Uncle Bill. They
yeah,
are temporary.
yeah. But Swampy McGee, yeah, I, I, I don't see any reason why um, uh, we aren't on the moon already, if not right now. Um, why that would be like a secret or something that somebody doesn't want us to know. I'm not quite sure. I don't know why that would have to be a secret. But it seems strange to me that we would go to the moon all gung ho and then all of a sudden just stop. That
Yeah.
seems a little bit strange to me. Um, so, I don't think. I mean, yeah, I think there was funding cuts and people were sort of getting bored with it. It wasn't new anymore. Um, we had won, right? We had won the space race. Aha. Um, um,
Yeah.
All
so
of it, planet
And,
wide, have to
and,
stop thinking like that. This is not a
and
con. This is
yeah,
something
yeah,
the whole planet should
yeah,
be working on together.
yeah.
yeah,
I,
and okay, Swampy, Swampy. I think you need to go.
you gotta be nice, Swampy. Sorry about that.
Who? Did he say a bad thing?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's okay.
I didn't
He
say anything to offend him, did I?
no, he gave it a good try, and he looked pretty funky coming in. But yeah, it just yeah, that was a good one. I like that one. Thank you, Swampy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like I say every single time, the fact that there are trolls coming in here means that there's exposure, and that's cool.
That's a good thing.
I have no problem with that. Yeah, just
Yeah, and he was spamming with that article and stuff like that.
yeah. He was making some interesting points, but then he went postal, and yeah, then it's over. Can't handle that here.
Yeah.
Cannot handle that here. This is
Mm-mm.
astronomy. This is not
Yeah.
post office. So
But the ring, like Uncle Bill said, the rings of Saturn are disappearing on their own.
well, they
There isn't
are
somebody
they
sneaking out there taking stuff away from them to the best of my knowledge.
so they as with everything else in the universe, they are dynamic,
Mhm.
and we are seeing just a snapshot of that, just a very very very. I mean, even all of our years of observations of Saturn is a snapshot. It's a tiny period of time.
I mean,
So
the truth is, on a universal basis, human beings as a species have the lifespan of a mayfly. I mean,
yeah, it's
no single human being is alive long enough to do anything. We have to do it as a group over generations, hundreds
well,
of them.
even our awareness is very short,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
especially when it comes to astronomical things, and this idea of supposedly being in a universe of some sort. That's a new thing. I mean,
Right.
that's only you know several hundred years old. So yeah, I mean, it's just we don't have enough data to really form any kind of um, conclusions at all. But we've come up with this tool called science that seems to allow us to sort of uh, look at things a certain way and try to understand them because we're curious. And I'm
And
insatiably, just absolutely insatiably. That is a hunger that just never goes away at all. I wonder about everything constantly. It's maddening.
The
Cheers.
human race has so much potential if you just don't do
yeah,
ourselves first.
I think so. I
You
think so.
have a tremendous amount of potential. And we're
Yeah,
just
I mean,
in our infancy.
yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't even know. I don't really even know if we've been well, we've been conceived. I don't even know if we've been born yet.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, who knows? Who knows? So good stuff. Good stuff. Mars documentary. Okay, huh. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that Page Master is talking about a documentary called Mars.
Oh, it's great. It's very. I mean, it's very thought provoking, and they try to keep it as realistic as possible. And everything isn't just a wonderful fantasy. They have problems. They face technical problems that you would expect. The conditions on Mars are, let's face it, it's not where we were born. At least, not to my knowledge, it isn't. We have to create our own environment to live there, and that has its technical problems with it.
Right.
But there also become political problems. For example, I think Uncle Bill said something about this a long time ago, about getting funding and getting support. They had to search for life, find life, even if it was bacterial life fossilized in a rock, anything, because that would, that was a big deal, a big goal in order to get funding. And I think that's really true. I think it is today. I mean, if you can just tell somebody with the money that, hey, there we might find some life out there. Ooh,
Yeah, everybody is really really excited about finding life, and
Yeah.
I guess I'm not excited in the same way. It seems as though most people are excited because they don't expect life to be there, and so they're going to be surprised when they find it. It's going to be a big surprise, and I don't think it's going to be a big surprise when we find it. I think it'll just be like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it's very exciting. It's extremely interesting, right? And maybe it helps us understand things maybe a little bit more. I don't know. It's probably going to confuse us even more.
Yeah. And speaking of extraterrestrial light, did anybody remember that little string of messages that some entity sent out one time?
I am not quite sure what that is,
No,
Bobby.
no, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot too, but it was mentioned on a shortwave radiogram show about that little message that something sent out into the SETI, and they were able to decode it, and it had those pictures and stuff.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico did send a message out to a. I think they sent it to. I want to say that they sent it to Barnard Star, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah,
But it was some kind of encoded message of some sort. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they actually did that quite a while ago. I want to say back in the 80s, something
yeah.
like that.
I want to know where's that signal at now?
Well, it's moving outward at the velocity of light, so you could, if you knew exactly where they were pointing, and as I said, I think they aimed it at Barnard Star, if I remember right. Could be wrong about that. But you would just have to multiply the speed of light times the amount of time that it took, from when the signal was sent to now. You multiply those two numbers, and you get a distance, and that's where it is. And that beam actually even has a length. right? It has a
Okay,
certain
so
amount
the
of length.
Arecibo message is a 1974 interstellar radio message carrying
74.
basic information about humanity and Earth and sent to a globular star cluster M13.
M13. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew that it was a popular object of some sort. So yeah, yeah. They sent it to M13, which is I don't know. That's really really far away. So I mean, it's going to take it 10,000 years to get there. Um, and then I guess I guess the reason for sending it to M13 is that the idea is that these are older stars. Um, yeah, so it's 45 light years out now, and it's got to
Yeah.
go.
How many years is in a light year?
Well, a light year is a distance.
Yeah, the light
And
travels in a year.
right, right.
It's a
So
long way, Bobby. I mean, a really long way.
it's
I think by that time the second coming of Jesus will be already been here.
one light year is about 6 trillion miles,
Ugh.
something like that. It's really, really, really far. It's really far. That's the easiest way of describing it. It's really, really far away, and we astronomers don't really think in terms of light years because those numbers are too small.
And then there's always also the messenger.
Yeah. Yeah, the wow signal that PageMaster is talking about was a signal that they received. I forget exactly where or when, but it was the first indication of some kind of coherent signal, and when they saw it, they actually wrote on the little thing there, wrote "wow," because it was some kind of interesting, coherent signal. And I think on later analysis, it was found to just be a lucky sequence of signals. I'm not exactly sure how they decide those kinds of things, but they did.
So the wow signal was a strong narrowband radio signal received on August 15, 1977 by Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope in the United States.
Okay. Yeah. It I think it got a lot of people excited for a little while there. Yeah, I don't know much of the history of that, except what I've just said. But yeah, that signal being sent to M13 is going to take at least 10,000 years to get there. At least. At least.
Yeah. Anthropologists, I wish I had a reference for this. I'm sure PM could find it, have taken a view regarding intelligent life in outer space. Anthropologists are not astronomers. They're not physicists, but they say, well, probably, there's intelligent life out there, but the reason we never hear from it, their view is most intelligent life forms reach the point that their technology reaches the point that before they get off their home planet, they will
so
themselves.
I wonder now, PageMaster, explain to me what was represented as 6 Echo Quebec Unicorn Juliet 5.
I think that was just the signal that came through. That's how it was interpreted. And then that in some way is significant.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. Page Master, for sure. If you want to say any more about that, feel free, because yeah, that's an interesting thing. So that happened back in '77. Um, uh, so okay, well, he's saying yes to something that I said.
Mm.
Um,
Take the yes, you know.
I'm just going to take it and run with it.
Yeah,
Yes,
take the yes.
yes. Cheers to yes. That is probably my second favorite word. Is yes. My favorite word of all time, above all, is no. That is my favorite word of
That's
all
the
time.
word every kid learns when they're babies. That's always
Uh,
their first word.
I love that word. That is
Uh,
my favorite word.
And I
I
And
personally like the fact that dada is easier for a baby to say than mama.
yeah, it is. It
now
Here you are, dear. Once it's dada.
is.
now do you think like going to the side of radio things, do you think like satellite radio, both paid and free to air, will replace shortwave radio?
I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, I think I I I hope that all of the above is being used to its fullest extent. So let's just do it all. I mean, we can. So I don't think that there needs to be any kind of choice at all. We just, we maximize our choices, and
I
yeah, just have it all. We can do that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like Jules always says, shortwave is at a stable state.
Hmm.
And when the '90s came along, it was starting to decline. And and Jules also did you say that those that left shortwave just left. They were not on the internet,
Uh,
and I don't think they'll never will be.
look at the ah,
all right. So
look at the
cool.
little green men.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I don't think so. When they first discovered pulsars, they um, repeat this light pulse extremely regularly, and so it was first theorized that it's like, well, hey, we found them, um, and but yeah, upon further observation, come to realize that these are sort of naturally occurring things that we still don't really understand.
yeah.
We have a moderate grasp of those kinds of things. Anyway, let's keep diving into
Yeah.
Aries a little bit. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, so like yeah, Page Master, but I think Morse code can be still be learned if they want to, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a requirement anymore, to get any kind of license.
And I can imagine circumstances under which one might be glad that one knew it. There might
Yeah, yeah,
be another choice.
yeah, yeah. I sure wish I did. I definitely don't. It's something I probably should know, but I don't. I don't. All
I
right.
can do SOS.
Um,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
and on if you was ever was to be on shortwave and you listen to a program called Wave Scan, they were talking about the communications during the Titanic disaster.
Hmm.
I'm also thinking about if it was ever was in the long waves and stuff, like in the BLF and stuff like that. I think that's another thing I need to know because I think way back when, medium wave and short wave is something that you never thought of as of yet.
Hmm. Cool. All right. Well, you know, we were in the constellation Aries, and we looked at a couple of binary stars. Let's just go on to variable stars. So, you know, here's Burnham's list of variable stars in Aries. It's just
Yeah,
that. It's just that.
yeah. And we're missing that 1 hour sound bath check is going to do.
The what?
She's going to
Huh?
do a 1 hour sound bath.
Oh, good. Excellent. Excellent. But
And she's
my
just getting started.
cool. My guess is that there are probably a lot more known variable stars in the constellation of Aries now. This is only a couple. Um, so I think what maybe we can do is go over to AAVSO, the what does that stand for? The American Association of Variable Star Observers. And
Yeah. And did you just say that you're going to cut your live stream short?
yeah, I'm going to go a little bit short here, but we can definitely dive into this. I'm looking outside, looking at the little tree outside, and it's still shaking around a little bit, but not very much. So yeah, here's hoping. Here's hoping. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. That's that. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And all right, so here is the aavso.org website. And if we go to variable stars up here, and then the variable star index, and then we can go to search. And let's just look at all the known variable stars in the constellation of Aries, which is right there. So I know this is kind of hard to see. So let me zoom in a little bit. So I'm not going to give it a name or anything. I'm just going to look at all the variable stars in the constellation Aries, and let's order it by variable star type. There's dozens of variable star types. um, so let's just order it that way. It's kind of neat. We can order it by other means as well, like position in the sky or brightness, um, period. You know, if you want to look at just the really short ones or the really long ones. So lots of options to sort this, which is kind of neat. But let's just go with that. And so you remember Burnham's listed what, maybe 20-ish or so variable stars. Let's see how many we've got here. So here we go. So there's a couple. Practically every star that we look at is a variable star. Practically. I don't know exactly what the percentage is anymore. But yeah, it just goes on and on and on. Look at all those.
Oh yeah. There's a zillion of them.
Yeah, there's just a zillion of them. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. There's the end of it. So yeah, pretty amazing that there's that many. So yeah, you know, at this point, sometimes it's fun just to, you know, look at the period and see how much it's varying in brightness. See if there's anything interesting, you know, to see. Yeah, I don't know. This is going from 6.5 to 20, so that's way too faint. I can't see that. Here's a pretty bright one, 9.9 to 10.06. So It's varying a little bit, but not very much. It's probably kind of hard to see that one. So yeah, this is just page after page after page of all the variable stars, just in this one constellation. Pretty amazing that there's that many. But these are all just different different stars that were part of this survey. I don't remember what CSS stands for. We might be able to find out. Timelines. No, I'm not seeing anything there, but that's typically how these things are. Is that these names are the are like the survey name, and then these numbers after it are just the coordinates, are just the right ascension and declination of the star that they're looking at. So here's some HD, some HIP, more CSS. Here's some older ones that actually have sort of names. Most of the time, these are a little less ambiguous when it comes to the variability, but sometimes not. SV Airy. Yeah, there was one that Wikipedia was talking about, SX. SX. So it's this kind of star that's called a helium variable star, which I don't know very much about, except they're very, very bright in helium-1 and silicon-3. So kind of interesting. SX Aretus. Let's see if we can find that here. SX. I wonder if I can just do ARI. Yeah, there it is. So there it is. It's got a period of 17.47 hours, but it varies in brightness by just a little tiny bit. What's that point? What 0.06 magnitudes? So that's 60 millimagnitudes over the course of 17 hours. Yeah, that's for my system. That's a tough sell. It is really bright, though, right? That is potentially visible to the naked eye. Probably see that star under my sky, but being able to see that kind of variability. Pull out the old calculator here. So if I do 0.06 divided by 5.81, so that's 1% photometry in order to see that. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Kind of interesting. We should probably dive into this a little bit more. Let's see if there's a light curve here really quick. And then I'm probably going to go. Wind is still blowing out there a little bit. Uh-oh, no data found for this star.
Well, it's just telling you that, so let's just load this joint.
Woe is me. Well, let's see if there's any other light curves here. Here's a light curve. Let's see what that does. I've noticed that sometimes the information on this site is a little strange or non-existent. And here's an example of that. They've got these plots that have absolutely no data in them whatsoever. So not quite sure what's going on there. Yes, see, there is no light curve. It says light curve begins next line, but there isn't a next line. So, yeah. Map, image, DSS.
Catching the tail end, Kira H.
Catching the tail end, Kira H. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get out of here. I'm itching to get everything out. I've got to get the scope out and cool down before in about 40 minutes. So yeah, I better get out of here for now. So Kira, you caught us right at the end, but I'm glad you could stop in anyway. So all right, everybody, I'm gonna go chase this asteroid, see what it looks like.
Bring your phone.
What's that?
Bring your phone because if you want to watch, check me out at the same time.
Yes, I will definitely do that. But
Yeah.
number one priority is this target, so I'm not going to be paying much attention to any of that anyway. Okay, everybody, I'm going to get out of here for now. Peace, cheers, and all that. Asteroid ho. Live long and prosper. Come on back.
All right.
I'll be back here again tomorrow, 2 hours UTC. All right. See you later. Bye.
Later.